Hello, storytellers. It's Storytelling Ron. We'll talk about how you start a game or a session or campaign, like session zero, for Apostles of the Apoc. Oh, I think I'm going to change this to Apostles of the Apoc. I've been saying that now. I'm going to change that right now. Apostles of the Apoc. How you start the game. And this also is for Christians in space. Very same concept. The concept is that they're in a bunker, a bastion, a prison camp from 100 years ago, and there's nuclear fallout, and now, that's over with. They get to go out into the wastelands and start evangelizing. That's what Christians do. I'm going to do a little rant at the end about this again, about Christianity and RPGs. But this is the transport I've drawn, and here's a couple of characters that I've play tested, and they're a lot of fun. But I want to show you the making a character, and so you make a missionary, and then this is the basic concepts of the game. And then down here, these are the like ability scores, that you start off with, and aggression, awareness, technology, spirit, intellect, and society. And aggression is for combat and fighting, melee. Awareness is for aiming, so that's for ranged weapons. Plus perception, noticing things. Some secrecy, and it adds to your defense, adds to avoid being hit. So in this, I have two different armor class values. One is defense, and then I'm doing my coffee burps, and I'm not going to edit this out. And one is defense, and one is armor save, which reduces the damage, how much your armor will absorb. So technology, I replaced secrecy, that was for the Dark Ages, with technology, because to me it's the same thing. Secrecy is your concept of you wanting to do criminal things, pick locks, stealth, hand prestidigitation type stuff. And those are, to me, secrecy is like your desire to do those things, not necessarily how dexterous you are. Because whether you're a gymnast or a fat person, you can still be a very criminal thief type person if you want to be. And that's what that your proclivity towards secrecy type stuff. And technology is the same thing. Your proclivity towards, fixing things, maintenance gear, picking locks. That's what technology is. It's just your proclivity to, like, I think pretty decent technology. I can fix things and set up things and figure things out with YouTube, of course. Spirit, obviously your wisdom. Intellect. Spirit is your wisdom, your faith points for blessings, your courage, your, a lot of resist rolls, versus fear and other things, morality rolls. And this is really important for, like, the witches and pagans, sorcerers, to resist your blessings or not blessings, but your rebuking, your exorcism and all that kind of stuff. Intellect, and generally those are low for them too. So intellect is, to research, finding clues, programming, medicine, science, biology, all that stuff, and new technologies. So researching technologies, technology up here is for repair and maintenance and upkeep, not necessarily creating something new, right? It's the guy fixing the boiler, not, and intellect is the guy designing and creating the boiler. My uncles were boiler maintenance guys in life, and they did really well living off of doing that. Society is, charm, deception, persuading, leading, performance, reading others, trade, skills, and wit. So, and you can be an actor in society, or you could be a civil leader, you could be a diplomat. It depends on what skills you choose to increase in that category. But you always get your society for those bonuses. Okay, so when you make a character, here are the guides, right? And you as a GM can show them these or not show them these. Let me explain. When you start, and I'll go through it, but I also have women's rules. Women are different from men, so this is a Christian and reality-based fantasy RPG. Women cannot have aggression of 5 when they start, and if they want to increase their aggression, upgraded, it costs them double. So whenever you want to go up in any of these traits, which are like ability scores, like say you have an aggression of +4, and you want to go to +5, it'll cost you 5 glory points to do it. If you want to go to 6, it'll cost you 6 glory points, right? So most things cost you 1, for skills and upgrades and all that. But for the traits, it costs you the actual number it is. But for women, if you want to go up in aggression from 4 to 5, it'll cost you 10 glory points. And that's The reality of it, women, I don't want women in this game or girls or daughters playing this and thinking they're doing the same thing guys do, or so nope, don't want to, not, you can call me sexist. I don't care. Call this game sexist for sure. Go ahead. Cancel us. Anyway, when women are resting, they gain an additional D4 to skills in aiding, healing, or comforting others. This can be upgraded. This is just something I experienced with my wife and my daughters and my mother and my sister. So that's exactly what they get. While I'm sore and achy and doing stupid stuff, and in my marriage of my wife to 30 years, she has cared for me. I have injured myself and ruined myself and destroyed my health, and she's had to be the one caring for me. Fact. Biblically, this game and setting it here. Okay, so the women cannot be pastors in the church. Only women can do evangelism for sure. In this game, actually, they can pretty much do everything, because the planting of the church, that's when you get a pastor, and it's a man. And for the Christian belief. And just so you know, I can't be a pastor. I am not qualified to be a pastor. I've got the wife and the good kids, but I do not have the patience. So I'm not even qualified to be a pastor. So a pastor is not something I wish upon anybody. And I will never follow a woman pastor, or listen to a woman pastor if she's a pastor. If she's speaking and teaching about Christianity, that's fine, but if she's running the church, I'm like, nope. Call me sexist. Cancel me now. I don't care. Okay, so and my wife knows that. Don't let her know I said that, though. All right. This right here. So in the game, the GM or player allocates these numbers to the traits during session 0. Now, let me explain how this works. The GM also may add a couple of plus D4 skills if they start talking. So what you're going to do is you're going to get the characters to start talking with each other in character on session 0. Okay, I'll explain. And you can also give them some skills with that too. Like if they start talking about, I work on computers and you can give them a programming plus D4 or fixing computers plus D4. And that's usually the comms in the sci-fi one. In the apocalypse one, yeah, they do have a radio, so they will have a comm, but it's very basic. It's like post-apocalyptic, so it's not like they have a scanner or anything like that. But they will use it, so that could be important. Actually, it was in the game, so very basic kind of like computer stuff. Radio stuff. But that can advance to sci-fi, because technically, a lot of the sci-fi was there when the nuclear war happened. So there will be some sci-fi gear in the wastelands. They just got to find it. But the bunkers themselves have kind of like modern day technology. And it is 2300 AD, because they were in the bunkers for 100 years. So all the people there don't know America. I mean, they know our history. They were taught it by their Christian, forefathers, but they know the basics of everything, so anyway, let me go to this page here. So when you start, you get, here's the character sheet. It's really simple. I'm telling you, you can make a character in 5 minutes, once you know all the rules or the basic rules. And then this is the transport. You will give this paper out to the characters. This is their transport. And you're going to have, so what I do is how I start the game is I have a chaplain and a colonel, and they all know the chaplain is old Jerry and the colonel as Colonel Pete or whatever, and they come into the rec room, and then and all the missionaries are there, and the colonel says, "We want to thank you all for coming here," and I really try to get right into it, like really quick on. It's been 100 years. The nuclear radiation levels are low now. We can go out there. You all have been training to get ready to go out, and we gotta evangelize. We know there are survivors out there in the wastelands. We know that we gotta return this back to a nation of Christians. We need to evangelize out there and start building up earth again, and building up in a nation similar to the United States of America, something like that. And now, and then I play it like the chaplain, prays for them and all that. And then the colonel and them, they give them a tour of the transport, and this is the transport. And they say, this is the gear that you guys all have. And this is, the gear and the weapons and some armor. And these are supplies, ammo, scrap for repairing things, rations. They got 30, refuel, 30, and low tech, high tech, and medical. And, this is for repairs or for upgrading or whatever. And then they have some manuals They have a guncraft manual. They got an ammo manual, demolition, farming, vehicle repair, medicines, trauma, surgery. So those are kind of like magic items. They use those to help them do those different skills. Plus, they can learn and start creating these skills on their own. Like I want to do demolition. You got plus D4 for this book, but you can start making your own skill demolition where you have a plus D4, plus D6, plus D8, upgrading with glory points. And again, those combine. So if you have a plus D4 and then use the book, it's not D4 plus D4, it goes up to D6, right? D4 to D6. So it's two ranks there. And then you've got, you got plastics for armor, you got padded wear, and this is your armor save, D6. When you get hit, you got a large shield, which gives you a +3 to your defense to avoid you just getting hit altogether. And this is how many you have, and then who's going to take one. You got a flamethrower, does D8 for starters. You can increase that. In this game, you can actually increase the damage of your weapon through skills. You can say, I want to use my glory point to make that a D10 now. Yes, you can do that with every weapon. It just means you get better at how to use that weapon. You make the flame hotter. You adjust it. Whatever role-playing concept. Sniper rifle is already a D12. You can't if you want to go to D12 to D4, that's 4 glory points because that's the second die. Because D12 is the maximum. So if you're going to go to D4, you really want to train, you got to spend 4 glory points to get that second die like this jackhammer has right here. If you want to go to D6, that costs you 6 more glory points. So that's how specializing in something to that degree of having a D12 plus an additional die makes it that much more expensive. So that's like when you get really specialized. So how does this supplies work? Okay. Whenever you use up an ammo, I probably should make this higher actually. I'm gonna make this 30. Whenever you use up ammo, during a fumble, during a nat 1 or whenever I decide, you then have to use up a piece of ammo. And then you have to take it off of the stock when you resupply. So on your character, you'll have some ammo under light. That's where it goes under light. Just ammo. It could be for anything. And let's just keep it simple for the flamethrower, the shotgun, the grenades that you have. Grenades are specific. Sniper rifle, those type of things. Handgun, just ammo. And once you use it up, you got. Then when you go out, you erase it from your character. Then let's say you go out on a new mission, you want to take 2 ammo, you got to take it off of your stock. So that one will reduce. Now you don't use ammo every time. Don't worry about using ammo every time, like as a GM and player when you go out and start shooting people. Only when you do like nat ones. Only when you fumble, when you that kind of thing. And same with rations. The only time you're going to lose rations is when the DM decides that or something happens and you reduce it. So normal mundane type things that that you want to say reduce the supplies. Don't worry about that. That's them restocking. But these only get reduced during some sort of play thing. And there's also I do have a below in the campaign area. You can roll to decide if one of the supplies goes down. And then that could be part of the game. And, then they got to restock up before it goes to 0. And refuel, obviously your transport is going to run low on fuel. And that only happens when you do a roll or something in the game actually says you lose fuel. And then, because normally they replenish it on the mundane fuel when they're just driving normally. They have a little, they do have a little, fuel, it's in the somewhere, but they have a little refinery, like a little diesel, like a little alcohol. I wrote it down somewhere. It's in here somewhere. Anyway, so they have that for mundane things, and then they can make some more. Okay, so the character. So you put in when you have them in the rec room or maybe in the transport. The colonel gives them a tour of the transport, and the stats of the oh shoot, where's the stats of the transport? Here? No. Where'd I put it? I need to put that somewhere that it's close by. Let me just show you that real quick. Let me pause and get it, and then I'll come back real quick. Okay, so the transport. I need to bring this up to the top page where the supplies are. But this is the transport stats. The handling of it is a 14 plus a D4. So they've improved the handling of your transport. And in the story, I say they purposely made it look ugly so that it looks like a ramshackle as opposed to it being it's really well made, but they've covered it in filth or, made it look rusty and dirty so that it looks like you're just a nomad out there in the wastelands and not coming from an actual civilized bastion. Because that's one of the things they tell the missionaries. You can never let them know we exist. You were out there as nomads. You're not part of us. You can't let them know. Otherwise, they're going to, they could come and attack the bunker. So your radio communication with them is going to be very limited and very, minimal, and only if you plant a church. And you cannot call us for an emergency like you're dying. We can't, because that could expose them. And you do have comms, so there's your radio link right there, comms D4. Wheels is just to let just to inform you and the GM what kind of transport, what kind of mode of transport it is. And by the way, this handling is very important. That's how you start off any combat or any driving. Is the pilot rolls that, and then you get above that 14 here. If you get above the 14, whatever you get above that in the DRR die rank result roll, then that can add to the bonus to other. I'm sorry, it's just anything above a 10. So if your total is a 20, that's 10 above 10, so that's a D10, and that can be added to defense of the vehicle because you're driving defensively, or you can add it to somebody shooting in the back, or you can add it to whatever you can think of, D10, and you can split that D10. By the way, you can bring it down to a D8, give somebody a D8, and give somebody a D4. You can do that too. The defense of the transport is an 8, which is easy to hit, but it has a really good armor. So it's really bulked up, a 12 plus a D4. And then also each part of the ship has 8, or vehicle has 8 hit points. And that's down here. So if you roll randomly to see which part of the ship it gets hit, and then that part will take 8, if it goes past the armor, it'll take 8 hit points. And if it takes 8, it's useless. So you're either sitting duck, or you lose your workshop. And this plus D6 here and this plus D4 those are upgrades. Now those have nothing to do with hit points. Those have to do with you when you want to use it to build. If you in your workshop, they have a plus D6, so that when they want to repair something, it's a little tight little workshop, obviously in the little school bus RV here, but it's still really good. It's got all the tools they need. Like the Christians really put together a really good workshop for you. At the bunker. In the lab, same thing, a really good little hospital unit in there. And I try to describe it as this cool little nook, inside their RV or whatever. So everything's really tight and compact, but it's got all the supplies, all the gauze and band-aids and scissors and, surgical knives and all that. So it's plus D6 to heal up any wounds and even to heal hit points if they're all hurt. So all that's in there, and if any of these get down to 8, they're a mess. This is so the refuel is 14. So whenever if they roll really bad and lose fuel, they need 14 to refuel the whole the ship or the vehicle. So that's a little scary. But and this is these need to be updated because I don't even know if I need to put these numbers in here because it's on the transport, and these are obviously old numbers. So I'll just take those out for now. I'm just going to take the numbers out and put the name of it because the numbers are already up above in the chart. There might even be a different wrong order as well. Actually, I don't even need this right here. I'm just going to... Oh, there. Cargo, missionary starting supplies. We'll just keep it like that. Okay. It has a 50 cal, does D8 damage, medium range, auto 4, ammo 8. I love this. I love this new concept I've put in here. Because you know how we have a game where you shoot, right? And they shoot and you shoot, and maybe you shoot 2 times, maybe you shoot 3. But you can choose to shoot once, or you can choose to go auto. And what that is you get the first shot as your normal stat, with your normal skill, but the next 3 shots in this auto 4 is just the roll. You just roll 3 rolls, whatever. It's a raw roll, no bonuses, no nothing, just a raw roll. And they've turned out awesome. You know, getting like, there'll be a nat 20 in there, or, you know, there'll be some hits. It's been really fun. It's like 3 free rolls. But if they roll at 8 or less, it means they've shot off the whole wad, and they shot off the whole thing, and they have to then ammo. They need to replenish. They need, we got to get more ammo. We run out of ammo. They shot off all the ammo, or it's jammed or whatever. But it reduces the ammo by 1, so of the supplies. And then I'd probably even have a suppression thing where the target, if there's people there, I would roll their suppression, which is just a TR12 or whatever. They got to beat a 12 with their spirit. And if they fail, they don't fire back because they're like, whoa, because they're just being, blasted away. This is cover fire. That's what that is right there. That's that little reminder here. Cover fire if they do the ammo. If you have a loader there, that loader, if there's someone actually next to them, as being the loader. Oh yeah, cover fire, TR12. But if someone's there as the loader, then they can you can roll your technology. And they avoid the ammo thing, this ammo 8. If you roll an ammo 8 of 8 or less, and I also allow that person to add their awareness to that roll, so if their awareness is 4, then it's a 4 or less, because that means that they're just more aware of what they're doing. They're more aware of like running out of the ammo or whatever, and so I allow that for this, and that only is it's for all 4 of these, by the way, all 4 rolls. If they roll below an 8, then they lose the ammo. 1 ammo in a turn, because you got to reload. It's something this big I would say 1 turn. But if it's like a handgun, you don't lose your action, you lose your maneuver to reload. So, a launcher plus D6, way off. That's the range, way off. Ranges here are very simplistic. It could use a loader. And rockets. So you're using up 1 rocket at a time. So rockets are actual like items. They're not part of supplies or anything. They're actual. You only got 4 rockets or whatever it is. And the rocket is 2d12. It uses up ammo. So it's like and it doesn't use up the ammo. This specific one here refers to it. It's a 1 item type of ammo itself, and it has a blast d12. That means it can affect up to 12 individuals in an area. Okay. And if you think there's 40 people all centered together, you can just say all 40 of them get take 2d12. Okay. So that's the transport. It's got some cool stuff, and these are obviously other vehicles. But that's once you give them a tour of the transport and then explain sort of the transport's stats and mechanics of the vehicle. And you should do it as the colonel or the chaplain explaining all this. Yeah, we got this here. Check us out. We got a flamethrower. We got a sniper rifle up there. a couple of shotguns. Just explain everything. And then the gear too. You got your traversing gear for climbing and stuff. You got your cooking gear because you're gonna go out there in the field. You're gonna want to cook a good meal. Camping gear. You want to get a good rest. Machine tools. Yeah, you need those out. You may need those out in the field. You got them in the transport for sure. But when you go out there, fuel tank. Yeah, if you ever find some fuel out there, you may want to. So kind of explain all the stuff. Enviro suits could be some hot spots of radiation or toxins or whatever. So hey, you might want to have one of these handy. And all of these go into these categories. You can carry 2 heavies, 3 mediums, and 4 lights, basically. Okay. And you can downgrade, you can carry, you can take off 1 heavy and carry 4 mediums if you want. Okay, and faith and ability skills. This is where you put your blessing. If you're a cleric or a sister evangelist, you can put your heal. Your faith things, and then abilities and skills are basically the same thing. You can add your skills here, like repair weapons, repair vehicle. Whatever you can again pick anything you get to decide what kind of skills you want based on your role playing, how you start role-playing. So after the colonel gives them a tour of the transport and what they expected, have them, the players then, and the colonel says, so tell me about all your training and what you all been doing to prepare for this. you know, and then let them start talking. And when they start talking about that, you can start assigning their traits, what, you know, based on what they're saying. You got a 5, 3, 1, 0, -1, -2. And you can just basically look for the 5, 3, and 1, and then let them kind of decide the rest. But you can let them decide too, but, you know, play it, you know, put it down and then see what they think. You might want to give them a couple, if someone says, oh, I've been preparing, you know, shooting, been practicing my shooting, short range, long range, you know, like, so you could give them a handgun and the sniper rifle, and you can even give them a little, you know, if they're to hit here, say, let me just type this in real quick. So let's say handgun, and their to hit is going to be their awareness. So if this guy says he's been preparing gunfighting, you know, you might want to give him the 5 in awareness, but he's been training hard. Okay, been doing, you know, out at the range, give him a little plus D4 skill there. So you do that, and the damage of the handgun is a D8. I would not increase the damage yet. I would let them do that as they get better. You know, they can increase this to a D10 with a glory point. And yes, that can match a sniper rifle. It's just all in the matter of, you know, knowing they know where to shoot. It's not, they know where to hit, and then they know where to shoot. You know, it matters. Trust me. In sniper rifle, so their to hit's going to be the same, +5 if you give them that for their awareness. Here, I'll just put it in here. I got to clear this out in, but so +5. And then, you know, did you train a lot in your sniper rifle? Oh yeah, that's actually all I did. I didn't even do the handgun. I mean, I focused on that, or, you know, focused on that. So I would give it a D4. No, nothing higher than a D4, and bring that down. And then this is a D12. And so what are the difference between a handgun and a sniper rifle? And you in the game need to decide that. If they're in a close combat situation, they can use a handgun probably no problem, and they can pull it out and maybe use it first. That sniper rifle, you're going to make them go last. If they're in a close combat situation, they can go last, and because they're so close, I'm going to give you a -D4, you know, because they're so close to you and they're attacking you, kind of thing. So that's how you do that. You know, you kind of have to remember that whatever makes sense, you can play with a -D4 +D4 in those kind of situations, and you get to decide the initiative of the characters. So there's no initiative roll. You decide based on what they've got, what gear they got, what's going on, who goes first. And if they got only a sniper rifle and not a handgun, then that's not good in a close combat situation. So yeah, that's how you play. You let them sort of talk it out on what they do. You know, one lady, she was an engineer. She decided to be a tech person, and she's the flamethrower man. She took the flamethrower, and that was this character right here. It was hilarious. She was great. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Flamethrower right there. So, and then this guy was a crazy military guy, wanted to throw grenades everywhere. She became, you know, she's sort of wanted to be an evangelist, and then of course she was still handy with a handgun there. She got a Bible and she got her shotgun. And then this was the brother of this one. He was a stowaway young kid, and he sniper rifle. Oops. And yeah, it was, and I'll probably try to upload those. I think I have them uploaded, but I just haven't made them public. But I got to put up my Apocalypse playtests. I really was a lot of fun and successful, and this is just a great game. I'm dying to get a regular crew going and creating a hex crawl campaign with them, but I'm trying to get that organized right now. Just a lot of fun, a lot of open-endedness about it, and anyway, so that's how you start the Apostles of the Apoc game with the crew and their little transport and them going out. And I mean, the discovery of people in the Wastelands is just as revealing when I GM it as when they play it, because I set up the basics, you know, of who's where, the tribes and the mutants and whatever, but it's their interaction with them that really brings out the life of the lost souls out there in the Wastelands for me. My interaction with the crew there, with the missionaries, is what it really kind of brings out, you know, the real experience for even me. The story really comes out wonderfully when they're interacting with the NPCs and I'm playing the NPCs, and it's just a wonderful thing. So that's what this game is. And to save their souls and plant churches, that is the penultimate role-playing game experience. Missing out, non-Christians and Christians. You need to. It's really a lot of fun, fulfilling too. And it doesn't replace true missionary work, but this is like a way of at night when you're tired and you need rest. This is a way of sort of rejuvenating that and working that out too in your own lips and mind, and but in a fun way. And you still get a flamethrower and a rocket launcher and vehicle combat. They had I had couple great vehicle combats with these to transport, hanging in there against marauders, road warriors. So, and then my little rant here is that we need to bring our faith into the game, into role-playing games. We have willingly retreated, and the pagans have taken role-playing games and made us all think the only way you can have fun in role-playing games is by doing pagan stuff. It's the only way, and that's absolutely false. They're taking over romance, chivalry. There's a game here about a medieval setting of England, with all the beauty and pageantry of medieval, but that was because of Christianity. The whole medieval pageantry of knighthood and chivalry was because of Christianity, and yet pagans are now taking credit for it because they're creating all these role-playing games and they're just removing the Jesus from it. They're keeping the church and clerics and clergy, but they're replacing our God, with their own gods, their own made-up gods. And it's terrible. It's sad. It's pathetic. It's what pagans do. When we came along as Christians in medieval times, in Dark Ages, were a force for good, and we changed them. We changed the debate from human sacrifice and slavery are fine to human sacrifice and slavery are not fine. That's what we did, and that's what we changed the debate to, and they're taking credit for that because of these role playing games. So we need to bring our faith into fantasy, and I'm like, it's a revelation for me to push this, do this. It's easier not to do this. It's easier just to do a role playing game and have fun and stuff. But I'm compelled by this, and I really love it now. But it still has the same fervor, fun, silliness of any role playing game out there. And D&D, it's way better than D&D. D&D is way too constricting and controlling. And look at WotC. They're so controlling and ridiculous. This brings out the love and joy of that open-ended game that you and I love as old school. And in the open-end, the characters are so open-ended. You can go any direction you want with them and explore. And they will never be overpowered because of the D4, D6, D8, D10, that extra bonus there. Your ability score will never be above like a 5 or a 6. So you'll never have like a plus 11, roll to everything. And you'll never have 100 hit points. Even your hit points go up slowly, and more expensive to get them. So I will never have to throw demigod demons at you, 4 months later because your characters are so powerful. I don't have to do that. I can just throw the same things at you, but with different stories, different settings, different types of things, and you're going to still deal with it in the same precarious, dangerous way. It's going to be still frightful to you because you're not going to be overpowered. You have to work together. You have to use your healing and blessings and pray and get that kind of advantage over the non-believers. All right. Thanks for listening and watching, and I hope you will join me in this journey. I want this OpenGL, by the way, so if any of you want to create your own settings, all I want is credit for the game, right? You can create it, sell it, do whatever you want, make shows. Just give me, hey, we're doing the Four Lord RPG, storytelling run, check it out. That's it. That's all I want. I want you guys, and as long as you're Christian, and hold some of the similar tenets that I do as a Reformed Calvinist. You don't have to hold all of them, but some, very close, please. But I'm fine with you creating your own settings, selling them, and just giving me credit, for the for the actual core rules and core game. But if you guys can come up with your own apocalyptic setting using this and campaign, fantastic. All right, and contact me if you need we can work on a OpenGL type of license or whatever. I just haven't done it yet. I can copy and paste the original D&D 5e one. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, in the game of life, remember to roll holy dice.